What's up, guys? Welcome. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday. As I just put this to. Okay, great. So, how you guys doing? Daryll will be with us in a few minutes. Just the usual drill. Starting off, some of you might have got a glimpse of him when he came on a little while back for a test. Nice questions that have come in. Some of you are quite intrigued with the unorthodox choice of guests that I've been getting, not guys that you see on mainstream TV or media or online. But like I said, this is just part of a storytelling series. So I have some good stories with Daryll. Hopefully we'll bring those up today. Jamuna Shetty wants me to do another live with Rahul. Like I said, you should take your time, guys. Suraj is saying, get who on my next InstaLive? He was live yesterday and drunk. Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about, but anyway. Ashley Cullinan has joined. Hello, Ashley. The lovely Mrs. Cullinan is watching us. Daryll will be in a few minutes. Tell Daryll not to worry. I'm warming the audience up for him till he gets here. Episodes have been super fun so far, says Anirudh. Thanks, Anirudh. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's something we can do, yeah. We don't really have much to hold on to in times where we don't have live cricket or live sport, in fact. So Daryll is with us. So let's get him on. He's in nice and early on time. So let me send Daryll the request and get him to join. Hold on. Oops. As you can see, it's an interesting thing that I do. Where is Daryll? Let's get him on board. Okay, I think he's going to take a couple of minutes more. Amitya wants me to ask Daryll if there's any superstition he followed before going into bed. That's a good question, Amitya. Let's ask him that. Hip Hop India says, get the legend Chanchal Singh. So you're a Jamnabayite. I've been seeing the slightly interesting comments you leave behind, Hip Hop India. Why don't you tell me who you are, and maybe then I'll consider putting some of them through. I'm a fan of people, not of anonymity. So, Anil Kumble for live session. Yeah, well, okay. I haven't worked with Anil Kumble, funny enough. Ravdeep wants me to get Harsha as a guest. Well, maybe sometime in future. Right now, I'm just doing the cricketers that I've worked with. Okay, so Daryll is with us. Let's get him on board. So any second now, and we should be joined by the very good looking. There he is. There he is.
Hello, Raunak.
How are you, Daryll?
I'm well. Cheers. Yes, to a nice.
You should have told me. I would have opened one myself. But anyway, I'm loving
one
this.
One of South Africa's finest wines. You see, it's weekend, so in the midst of lockdown, we are finding a moment to have a little glass, and I'm talking to my good friend.
Oh, cheers to you, Daryll. Cheers to us. That's a lovely way to start this session. How are you doing, Daryll?
Yeah, it's good. Look, it's been trying times. I'm sure, as you guys have experienced as well during the midst of all of this. But we've managed to keep it together, just taking it simply day by day. That's about the best we can do. So that's the philosophy my wife and family have adopted. And let's just see where it takes us in time.
Brilliant. What's the red that you're having there? One of South Africa's finer ones, you said. Which one is that?
It's a blend. It's a Merlot Capes blend. It's about a 12-year-old one which it is exactly not. I'm not too sure what it is.
But it all has the same effect. That's the fun part, isn't it?
I drink for effect, Raunak. You know me.
Tell me more, Daryll. What have you learned in this lockdown? Everyone's trying to develop new skills, and some people working on their cooking. I don't know if I take you for one of those that's been spending more time.
Oh, I love cooking. I love spicy food. I think in all my times in India, plenty of chili, plenty of garlic. I mean, it's all good for inflammation and infections. Lots of turmeric and garam masala. So I've enjoyed some good vegetable curries and done a lot of reading, in fact. So, put it this way, more than I've done in recent times. But as you know, we've got 2 young boys, so it's been a bit of a challenge keeping them busy. But all in all, we've managed to spend some good time together and reflect on things, and also to catch up with old friends and see how they're doing, and just keep following the news. You know, I'm only on LinkedIn, so I don't do social media.
Yeah.
Simply because, gosh, I think it's really stirred up a lot of emotions, and one doesn't know what to believe. But I think we've been very grateful and thankful that we're still healthy, and I think that's the best that one can say right now and be happy about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this time has given all of us perspectives, and therefore my desire to want to connect with some of the wonderful people that I've had the chance to come to know and work with. And yes, I must extend my gratitude, because I know you're not a big social media man. And in spite of that, you've taken the trouble of downloading Instagram, getting onto this. It's very nice of you to make the exception, Daryll.
No, for you, I killed a bull. You know that, Raunak. And we've through the years enjoyed some really good time together. And I'm honored that you should consider me worthy of joining some of your fellow guests that you've had already, and I'm sure that you're going to have in the future. So I think it's an indication of how we value your friendship and how we've enjoyed working with you. So well done to you, Raunak.
Thanks, my man. Let's think of those times, actually, because I've enjoyed telling stories. You know, these are stories that haven't really made the public eye, because we've worked at Cricinfo, which has been a different platform servicing a different core group of fans. But there's been so much fun outside of that. And I go back to the first time that not just the first time that we met, but the first time we even spoke. And I put a post out about this. It was the ODI series before the Test series, and we had just acquainted with the Google Hangouts that we were doing, the internet, the place. And I remember after one of those ODIs, we were supposed to do the post-match show, and you sent me a quick text saying, "I've got to rush to the hospital. My wife's in labor." And that was the day that your kid was born.
That must have been Thomas.
Yes, Thomas.
Six years ago.
That's a long time.
All of that stuff was challenging for me. So, gosh, I don't know how we we kind of got through that. But I've always loved working for you guys at Cricinfo. I mean, my relationship with Sunbeat goes back, gosh, what is it, about 25 years. Right. And it's been a great platform to discuss cricket and be honest about it and sort of speak quite freely how you feel about it.
Yeah, and that's been the hallmark of working with Daryll, for all of you who haven't followed, say, the work that we've done over the years. But Daryll you didn't need to ask him twice. He told you what was on his mind. That Daryll Cullinan's been outspoken and, you know, unapologetic about his comments, makes him a great analyst, and I've said that. But the fun part is the stories that you don't get to see on camera. So I go back to Christmas Day, Daryll, 2013, wasn't it? Yes. 2013, when Jack Callis announced his retirement, we were working on tests, and you had a nice 2 or 3 days off before the Boxing Day test. India and South Africa played a brilliant first test. You might remember that at Johannesburg for the cricket fans. Kohli scored this wonderful 100. Faf du Plessis nearly won the game for South Africa. And we thought, we've got a couple of days off before the Boxing Day test. We were enjoying a nice Christmas lunch. And then your old teammate and, acquaintance Jack Callis announces his retirement, and we couldn't film a 2-minute show because we were far too deep into the lunch and all the other intoxications that were served along with it.
Yeah, that was certainly one of our hilarious moments. What sparked it off? I think it was the comment. I mean, Jacques. Let's be honest. He is a great player. I mean, gosh,
Right.
there's not even a question about that. And so it was the thoughts and the whole comment about the dot ball.
Yeah.
And it started, and yes, we'd had a few beers. I definitely had more than you. I mean, it was our day off, and Jacques decides to, of all days, didn't he? I mean, he had to give some thought to that. Everyone, certainly you and I. Why didn't you and I were in the midst of a long lunch, and we had to now suddenly pay tribute to the great man and his announcement of his retirement. I mean, I thought that was, very short-sighted of Jacques, and really not quite in the way you should handle one of your old teammates. So, and I think it was the comment that couple Dev always passed about.
The dot ball.
Oh, he's the dot ball, and that just sparked the whole. So it was rather tongue in cheek, but I think I christened Jacques that day the dot ball. He took after dot ball. But it was a great moment, and it was so spontaneous, and it wasn't for the camera. I think, having spent a couple of days working, and we enjoyed a lunch, and you could really kind of let your hair down, and suddenly a camera's in front of you, and
it was your fault. You were the one making me laugh, to a point with which the only way we could go through that is if I turned around and didn't look. And that is how we filmed the last segment, because Daryll, this naughty man, Daryll Cullinan, who now I'm seeing in the comments, everyone saying, "Oh, it's so good to see Daryll. He looks like such a gentleman." He is a gentleman, no doubt. But back then, he was just he was just out of high school, not able to keep a straight face, and eventually had to film straight to camera, pretending that I was listening on the side.
No, but listen, that cheeky smile and grin of yours, I've seen it when the camera's on me. And your host really sets the tone for the whole interview and the conversation. And that was you. You're like expecting me to keep a straight face, and you know exactly where I'm going, and you know exactly what's going to come out of my mouth next. And you're the guy that's got to keep everything in check, and you clearly didn't. So
that's on me then. I'm sorry, that's on me. But
it's on couple the dot ball. It was his.
Then in 2014, we worked on the World T20, and we had the privilege of working with the late Martin Crowe, and what an experience that was. But I must say, Daryll, we had you and me and our producers. We took our chances with Marty Crowe with that one little prank that we put on him, where we pretended to go live and whatnot. Marty didn't enjoy that one, but it was a learning lesson, wasn't it? Which we were working with Martin.
Yes. Jess, I've never really spoken to anyone. It's the first time I've ever spoken to anyone about those 3 weeks. And forgive me if we go off the subject a little bit, but I played against Martin one series in South Africa, and he had a huge standing in world cricket, as we know. Beautiful writer, and he'd sort of in his last few years done a lot of writing.
Yep.
And I'd arrived. Where were we? In Bangalore or Mumbai?
We were in Bangalore, yeah.
Bangalore. And I think it was one of the hotels we checked in, and I think Marty was there already, and Marty wasn't happy. And then he said, he's going on a scout. And he came back, and the most beautiful hotel I've ever stayed in, it just opened up. It was
the Ritz-Carlton in Bangalore, I remember.
The Ritz-Carlton.
They framed a picture of you batting on the wall, if I remember.
Yes, the manager at that time was a South African guy.
Really?
And Marty came back and said, "No, we're moving." I said, "What? I'm quite happy comfortable where I am." He said, "No, we're moving. We're going to the Ritz." Not only did we get a room, we got the 15th floor, which was the executive floor. So our own breakfast area, business lounge. We were the only two people. The only two people on that floor stayed for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
On that floor. So my day was, even when we weren't working, we were at the pool. So it was breakfast in the morning, car, back to the studio, back again. So I really got to spend a full 3 weeks with Martin. He's an intense man, a very intelligent man. If I think back to, and I mean, the only thing I regret is that we didn't spend more time, not that we didn't look in cricket,
Yeah.
because there's no doubt. I mean, he's one of the only guy that I've ever in my life come across who could, articulate about the game and have a vision about the game and talk about it was Barry Richards. And here was Martin Crowe. And it was so sad. Obviously, as we know, it was less than a year later than he passed away. But, going back to your story, he was from a television background. I think he was head of programming or at Sky New Zealand.
Yeah, he was producing the cricket.
Yeah. So he was working with, I was just your typical ex-cricketer. You put him in front of something, look at the camera, you talk, and you ask your questions. But he was looking at it more than beyond that, so the quality of the presentation. He was very hard on you.
Yeah. Well.
So we decided to. I said that to you, and I think I said to our producer, right? Let's. What did we do? How did we do it again?
It was on the 1st of April, so we wanted to do an April Fool's Day thing. And Martin, like Daryll says, so guys, Martin was very passionate about the production, right? And my God, we learned much from him. Like Daryll said, he spoke so well on the game, he wrote so well on the game, and God bless his soul. But working back then, you could see that how dearly Martin cared about the production. So he started, and I was young in my presenting career, and Daryll and me had worked before, so we had this lighter side to our relationship. And Martin was great fun as well off it. He had a good sense of humor too, but it could go sort of either way. So you have to be careful with Martin. So he tells me this one thing, and he says, never ask me something to which the answer can simply be yes or definitely. It always has to be worded as a question. Now, I get that that's what Richie Beno used to say as well, never ask a question. But sometimes when you're on live, you end up putting it as a thought, and it may not come as a question. So you should have the expert or the analyst disagree with you or comment back. So we decided to make this 5-minute non-show where Daryll and our producer, it was actually our producer who did it first. He came up with the idea, Gokul. And he went to Daryll, and Daryll was on for it because he thought it would be funny. So he goes and on the 1st of April, we're supposed to go live at, say, 3 o'clock. And we decide to go live at 2:55 instead. But we don't actually go live. We just tell Martin we're going live. And in that time, I ask Martin these questions, and he gives me these detailed, long answers, very short questions, very sharp and short. And then I go to Daryll. All I say is Daryll, and Daryll says, yes, agreed. Couldn't agree more. Now, the thing was, I had expressed that I have reservations on doing this with Martin. I'm not sure we enjoy that rapport to have a go with this. But Daryll said, no, it'll be fun. Let's go for it. And now that we're saying the story, it sounds like fun. But in that studio environment without an audience, you could see Martin give these long, detailed answers. And then I say, Daryll, and Daryll just goes, Daryll, would you like to do what?
No. As in, no. Do you agree? No. And then Martin sort of he's right. And you can see now, what's going on here? Yeah. He's sort of looking at me. And so, as would happen when you work with someone who's a guest on the show, and often the guy, people don't realize at times you might have you get a bit tongue-tied, and so he's like stepping in for me. He's having to.
Now this is just part of the story. Eventually, about 3 or 4 minutes later, we'd probably stretched the joke, and it was just dead silent, right? You could see maybe 1 or 2 producers. We could see the production room at the time just have a giggle, but that's it. So then Gokul comes in, our producer, and he says, Marty, we got you. But the show actually didn't go up. We were just having a nice little laugh. And Daryll's smiling, and I'm smiling, and Gokul's laughing, and Martin's just looking at us and going, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Good joke. Yeah. So that genuinely freaked me out. Yeah. And less than a minute later, we actually go live. So I'm all over the place because I could sense that Marty wasn't happy with that. So then I start this whole, I start blabbering and I ramble and I end up messing up the questions. I ask these long questions perhaps. And then I look at Martin and Martin goes, yes. On an actual show. So what the prank that we were supposed to pull beforehand, which obviously didn't have the desired effect. Then we do the actual show. And Martin just goes, and I swear to God, Daryll, I wanted the world to just suck me in. There should have been a hole that I could have just gone into. And then he wrote us an email after it was done saying the dummy show we did was a better show than the actual show. My word.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, look, he wasn't happy in the moment because he called a meeting. We had to go. He called a meeting, and we sat down after that for about 10 minutes or so. But I said to him, Marty, it was to correct you. Sorry, Raunak, it was my suggestion to first the producer, and I said, no, Martin. It was my idea. So
yeah, you did that. Yeah, let's say that.
I kind of tickled him a bit, but no, he took it on the chin. But that was an incredible time. I remember one night we got stuck in the executive lounge, just the two of us. And in hindsight, you're smart in hindsight, like we all are.
Yep.
And we got stuck into the whiskies, And there was some beautiful whiskey there. It became quite an emotional evening, because there was a lot of chat about his personal life, and he got very tearful. We both, in fact, got very tearful. And looking back, why I mention hindsight is I wonder if during that trip, because remember he was in remission.
Yes, he was.
He did start to suspect that something was wrong again.
Sure.
But it was a great evening. It was just the two of us. We went into discussions about our career, and I had my issues with Shane Warne, and I said to him, there was Maritharan who I played quite well, and I was a bit, I was in awe of Martin. I mean, he was a worldly, respected spokesperson on the game or an opinion, but he was a hell of a player as well. And so I was a bit sort of, do I share sort of what I thought was really silly about Maritharan for the first time? And I said to him, Martin, I remember in Candy, 92, 93, I said, hey, Murray bowled then. I said, every time he bowled, I saw it looked like a leg spinner. Because it just came out, and trying to cut it. And it was a game where they had got to like 128, 129. And when it rained, we were 25 for 5. We were losing the game. We were gone. We'd never seen this guy. We'd heard this guy spins it. But I must be careful what I say, but he put a lot more elbow into those days. He had to, he straightened up subsequently, but then what he did was he learned, he didn't really bowl the doosra in those days, but then because he had to, then he developed that ball, which was his genius. And I said to Marty, he said, Daryll, he said, I thought exactly the same thing. I thought he was, and it took a real sort of mental thing to try and eventually, you kind of, and then we got on to about Warne. I said, I don't need to tell you about my history and what the world has said. Yeah. And he said, you know what? And I told Warne himself, I said, all your variations, whatever they are, the flipper or whatever, they all go straight. And I said to him, if I look back on it, I never swept. And the guys that had played Warne well had swept him. I was never brought up like that. Whereas Murray was with the spin. I looked to sweep every single ball. He said, Daryll, against Warne, I looked to sweep every single ball. Yeah, I was trying to be the conventional, play it inside out and wait for the bad ball. It never happened. And if I had my time over, it's interesting if I coach kids today. It's one of the first shots I teach them is how to sweep. But I was the guy who, and that just, the conversation flowed. And it was I could speak for hours on what we spoke about, and this isn't the time. But it ended up being a very emotional evening, and I just think that he kind of he knew something wasn't right, because halfway through that trip, it was very noticeable for me because I saw the guy every day.
Yep.
And we traveled, as I said, and we went. His mood suddenly changed towards the end of that trip, halfway through, and I just wondered, if he. It was
just wonderful work with Martin Crowe, though. I mean, you only remember.
You only remember. I think cricket was if anyone, it was what they say, it was a struggle of love and hate relationship.
Sure.
But his levels of digging deeper and understanding it and talking about it and analyzing and thinking it, I mean, it was so intense, but it was fascinating to listen to.
Yeah.
So I think it was his life's persecution was cricket. But I tell you what, in these times, and I do sense maybe cricket's changing in some aspects. Geez, we could do with his voice and opinion,
Absolutely. Yeah.
But he had the knack of putting things into perspective. Yep, that was the great Marty.
Yep, Gaurav has joined this chat. Gaurav Kalra, good old Gaurav, and he's saying...
Oh, Gaurav. Gaurav. He's my other favorite guy. Gaurav.
He,
Yes.
he adds his line on Marty in the story. He says, and he was very hard on me too. Yes,
Is-
Gaurav.
yeah. I
We
think
all know
Martin,
Martin Crowe test us. You're a wonderful man. He is.
Martin
And
liked to test. He liked to test people. He throws something at you to almost see what has he got in you.
yeah, sure.
That was, and if you didn't stand up to him or have, I think he would dismiss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
Yeah.
worked with him again in 2015 for that World Cup, and it was just brilliant. He
Yeah.
he said one line to me when I made sure every question to him was a question, proper question. I was on my A game. I was a year wiser in the profession, and once we were done with the first show, and he turns, he says, "Kapoor, gotten better. That's it. Never heard." And I would have retired. Just better, but that's it. I would have retired back then if I could have. Anyway, that was brilliant. And before I take your questions and comments, I can see plenty of them coming for Daryll. The last occasion that we did work in India, I had the pleasure of working with Daryll in South Africa a couple of years back, but in India was the IPL show, which was the most unique IPL show ever made. And when I remember stories of that now, we did something for Sony ESPN at the time. It was a first of its kind breakfast show recorded in the wee hours of the morning, and it was this detailed point system that you used to get on the two teams that you adopted. And poor Daryll, eventually, I think the point system broke you down, Daryll.
Yeah. No. It was, if I may say, my experience of working in India, I think the Indian cricket public love numbers. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Love
Yes.
stats. They love. I think it's the mathematical brain of the Indian people. They love all of these things. And I'm sorry, a lot of that's just beyond me a little bit. But my God, eventually I think I was saying, Raunak, just tell me what you think perhaps the answer is or whatever. But and then we got into the statistical side and how a statistician must wake up in India. He's got to come. Cricinfo is phenomenal. I don't know where these guys get all this content about stats, and it's genius. Only genius would come up with that every day and it's strictly often it's the same guys. And I think we got into how a statistician wakes up every day, and he's got to go to work.
A common man getting up for work, wanting something nice to watch in the morning with his breakfast, with his cornflakes, and all of a sudden he reaches for the calculator. That's what you would say. He reaches for the calculator after watching our show, The Friendly Toast, and he's completely all the problems in the world are back on him then.
Yeah, no, it was good fun. It was really good fun. Who was with us? It was, Brian.
Brian, Ajit, Dirk Nannes, and yourself.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, we had to pick a winner.
I think it was OB that won it. I could be.
Oh, Dirk Nannes. Remember, he got off to a flying start, and I said, well, IPL's not one in May. And then we kind of had our moments and we got going, and it was also a general knowledge test or a bit of a general knowledge test for all of us.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who he backed. It wasn't RCB. All I can tell you, he definitely didn't back RCB to win because they've never won.
That you do remember, and that has.
Yeah. And his team won in the end. So he turned to me and said, "Well, it is one in May, isn't it?"
I think it was OB though. It was Sunrisers that year that won it in 2016, if I remember correctly. And I think it was anyway, but it was just great fun. And you went, and that's the time Ashley came to India as well. And I think you two took a trip to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. Was that the same trip?
Well, I think it was because my wife was with me.
Yeah, she was there.
Yes. I married her. I had married her 3-4 years before, and she's watching the show. So I'd married her 3 years before and never got on my knee. And I always said to her, the day will come where I'll get on my knee, and it has to be at the Taj Mahal. So I got on my knee at the Taj Mahal. Good comeback, eh? That's a good comeback. Give me credit.
Very well done, Daryll. Okay, we're going to take some questions that you guys have been putting in now. Some related to Daryll's cricket and some fun stuff too. So let's get you guys involved. Let me see what I got. Amitya wants to ask you if there were any superstitions you followed before going into bat.
No, to be honest with you, I wasn't of the superstitious kind. I no, I wasn't particularly. I had set certain routines. I think I may have. Look, it's a long time ago. I
Yeah.
think I may have put on the left pad on first. But no, thank goodness. No, thank goodness I wasn't
So
of the
nowhere near the Neil Mackenzie level of.
No, let's not go there. That's a whole show on its own.
Oh, I
The
bet.
lovely man himself. He's a lovely man.
Brilliant.
That's a whole show on itself.
There's another one. Your memories of the 122 of the Wanderers against India in '97 by one tip, one hand.
Yeah, that was. I think it was the first time India had the chance of leveling the series,
Mm-hmm.
to win the series. I think it was to level the series. Yeah, I remember Javagal was. Yeah, he was bowling around the wicket a lot. They got onto the idea of trying to get me out of the short ball. It was a very good wicket, but there was one moment where I had sort of unintentionally or it was instinctively pulled a ball, and I think I wasn't at 100 yet, and it went over square leg's head. He was supposed to be on the boundary, and it dropped over his head for four, and his roll drove it, if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, it was yeah, it's I don't know why, but it's often when I'm in India, that's the one innings that seems to come up is that match saving innings. But I think the significance really of it was that I'm sure it was for India to no, I think to draw the series, to level the series. I don't think it was to win it. I think it's probably why people remember it.
Sledging stories, please, other than the Warne ones. We'll talk about Warne later, but sledging story. You remember a good sledge? One that really made you laugh, or either give it, or either served or received?
Hell, oh gosh, no, look, we're going back
Long time.
over 25 years of cricket. But if I something, yeah, well, my own, or if I've heard one.
Well, you tell me maybe the best story. If there's one that you were involved in, that would be nice.
But I remember we were playing against India A, and there was a guy, and Pat Simcox was bowling, and Pat wasn't short of a word or two. I mean, it was all in good jest. I mean,
Yeah.
Pat wasn't a nasty sledger. You know, he liked, I think more out of boredom, he liked to have a comment or two. There was a guy, Salil Anka. Do you remember him? Big lad.
Of course, yes. Got into television a little while after that.
Did he? He was a big lad. I think he was a bit of a bowling sort of.
Yeah, yeah. Seam bowling. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what the ground was. And Sima bowled him two dot balls. And then Sima said to him, do I need to put a bell on it? And the next four hit him for six over the wicket and straight. But no, gosh, I would have to. I mean, look, you know, the comment, you know, it always seems to come up. I think it was it was the title of a book. You know, the comment that Warne said, well, he's been waiting 2 years to bowl at me. And I said, it looks like he's spent it eating. I still to this day don't know if I, in fact, I was batting Gary Kirsten and we had a chat about it and laugh about it. And I still say, Gary said to me, well, looks like he's spent it eating.
Yeah.
And I might have just sort of said it again afterwards, but I'll take claim for it. But I mean, you know, I'm probably the fat boy now, and he's looking very good these days, Warne, isn't he? Very slim, and the hair's looking so good, as if it's all natural, and the teeth are whiter than ever. I mean, the complexion is beautiful. He's always tan. I mean, he's looking more and more like Ellen DeGeneres' mom. Cheers, Warne. Love you, my boy.
Oh, Daryll, brilliant. Okay, so let's since we're on the Warne subject, you've already hit him for a six at least on this. But tell me, there's so many questions that keep coming about. Did you ever get to speak to him though after your playing days? We have spoken of air as well, and yes, Warne did have the better of you. But you look back at that now. What are the thoughts? You think of that?
No. We must correct this. I played 4 tests and he got me out 4 times. I think 3 times twice were flippers. I think so. And then, but people forget that. Well, they wouldn't, because it's never been spoken about. And I reckon I won the one-day battle. I think he got me out a couple of more times in one-day cricket. I reckon I won that battle. I've never been given credit for that. But I'll leave that to somebody else perhaps to look up and write about. But, you know, in 2003, I had a benefit dinner in Johannesburg, and Australia were out there the year before, and I'd asked him, I processed, will he be one of my guests for my benefit dinner. And Tony Gregg was the MC, Warne, Wasim, and Viv Richards were my three main guests. And it was a sellout. We had about 1,200 people. Now, I'll tell you what, the man was brilliant. I had an appearance fee for all of them. He wouldn't accept my appearance fee. And I said, no, mate, this is for you. Thank you very much. That was the World Cup. It was 2000, where, yeah, it was just 2-3 days before the World Cup started. And Johannesburg had to be the venue because everyone, well, Wasim, Warne, and Viv were in Johannesburg, and so was Tony. I think 2 days later, and we thought about, should we have this dinner during the World Cup or towards the end? And it was the fact that they were all, they said, it's got to be 2-3. And then the whole, he obviously didn't play that World Cup. He had tested positive for something. So it was all timing and whatever. But in saying that, he was absolutely brilliant that evening. And he made the evening. He wouldn't accept. Eventually, I had to shove it in his pocket. He took the appearance fee. He presented me with a nice bottle of wine and said, mate, it's your evening, which he had signed. So no. There's a lot, I can say to him, thanks very much for pal. But, he's been great for cricket. I enjoy his commentary. I enjoy his work. He's a guy that says it like it is. He tracks attention and he speaks sense. He's played the game. And I think we don't have enough of guys like him in cricket. And I'm really tired of all the pandering that goes on amongst commentators and opinions when it comes to the BCCI and Indian players. And, it's just, guys, come on, man, it's nauseating. So let's get real and stand up for your rights, well, your opinions, and entertain people. We're not listening to a bunch of guys that are just more concerned about what they're saying and perhaps what they're not saying they're more concerned about. But he's not, you certainly can't box him as one of those characters.
Brilliant. Now, I've got plenty of comments coming in on, please ask Daryll to revisit the calamari incident.
Yeah, that was early on in my career. Now, cricket was a different game then. So we played often, I played for Western Province, so we were one of the major, what they call franchises. And at the start of the one-day season, we'd play a minor team, sort of a district side. And they were often around grounds where people who park their cars alongside the ground, and South Africans have a love for Brian and all of that sort of stuff. And I think Rick Telemarcus was the bowler.
Yes, he was. He was Telemarcus.
And I pulled one, and it landed. We call it it's a gas bottle, and it's got it's like a Weber top to it. Mm-hmm. And then in there, you do whatever you want to do. And the ball apparently had landed right in there. And this guy happened to be frying some calamari. And I think it would be the only time in cricket they had to change the ball because it was all fatty and full of calamari. I never knew it at the time. I only found it out kind of later, but it's one of those that keeps coming up, yeah.
All right. This is from Srijit Mulapalli. He wants, this is about current cricket now. Hey, Daryll, I hope you're holding up well. I just want to ask you, can AB de Villiers come back into the South African side for the World Cup? Let's assume it does happen. You fancy a comeback for AB?
He has to come back. AB, he's a genius. He's the most freakish player, certainly in my time of playing cricket and watching cricket. And South Africa desperately needs him. But when is this story going to come to an end? It's just, every time it gets mentioned, well, they're having talks or they're having discussions. It's talks about talks now. And I sense that Otis Gibson kind of set him a deadline and moved on from it. And then we read that at last minute he made himself sort of available. And
sure, that was during the World Cup.
Yeah, AB talks so passionately about playing for South Africa and supporting the guys. I don't want to hear how passionate you are. Just go and bat. Go and bat for us. Get out there. Stop trying to tell us the world how much you love your country. You love it so much. Go and bat. But I don't know. Look, my little theory about it is that I think it's a myth that him and Faf are mates. I don't think they're mates at all. I think there's a rivalry and a jealousy that goes back to these school days about the two of them. And AB's mood changed notably when Faf got the captaincy. And I think that he's held it against Faf, perhaps Faf, worked his way in there, which wouldn't surprise me. And perhaps with that, AB felt there was the team sentiment was against Faf, and because I think AB's quite a sensitive guy. Mm-hmm. He felt, well, the team doesn't want me, so he made his call and he moved on. But when you move on, you move on. Let me just give you guys some advice. If you move on, move on. You know what I mean? Don't hanker after it. Now you started to talk about it. Eventually, you just got to say, well, listen, play or don't play.
Yeah.
Which I think Otis kind of did. Now it's chat again. But in saying all of that, I think we need the leadership. And I think Boucher's got the leadership, and we've got Smith involved, to say, listen, guys, let's just get on it. The guy needs to play. Does he want to be captain again? Because he keeps saying, well, we've heard him say, oh, certain things have to be right. And, please, man, just guys, sort it out. Get on with what needs to do. Doesn't he want Fuff in the team? Or what is the story? But I think it's typically like everything else. It's what they're not saying. And we won't know what that is, will we?
Time will tell. Let's see. Let's hope cricket gets back first, and then we'll see whether AB de Villiers makes it back into this game. Daryll, it is time for a rapid fire. I do this with all my guests. You have to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Nice and quick. All set?
Yep. Fire away.
All right. If you weren't a cricketer, what do you think you would have been, Daryll?
I would love to have been a novelist or an artist.
Fantastic. One food item you cannot get enough of.
It's a wonderful, good chicken tikka masala, or those, they serve in the mornings. It's like the rolled up with the curried vegetable. Say the name. Say the name. I know it's rapid fire.
Something
in the morning. It's a breakfast delicacy in India. You have it in the mornings. It's not rolled up. It's a crispy.
Idli.
No, it's not that.
A dosa. What would you do?
Dosa.
Dosa.
Yes.
Brilliant. The best captain you've played under?
Ansi Cronje.
The most intelligent cricket brain you've met?
Martin Crowe and Barry Richards. I've got two answers there.
All right. Donald, Pollack, McMillan, Intini, the toughest bowler to face in the nets?
The toughest in the nets. Sorry, just run that past. Donald,
Pollack, McMillan, Intini.
McMillan, because he could change his pace in a heartbeat.
All right. Who has the best sense of humor in cricket, according to you?
According to me, I was a guy, Grant Elliott. He played for New Zealand. Funniest guy I ever played cricket with.
One batsman from today's generation that you would have loved to bat alongside?
Bat alongside. AB or Virat?
All right. Kolkata 96, Auckland 99, or Galle 2000? The sweeter overseas 100 for you?
Gosh, you run that again, past me? You're going back.
Kolkata, Auckland, or Galle? The sweeter 100 overseas for you? Would it be Auckland with the highest score?
Yeah, that was breaking the record, but that 100 at Kolkata was amazing. It was kind of a little bit of a breakthrough innings, and that was the game where Azhar smashed us. He got that brilliant 100. One of my most memorable test matches also, I know it's rapid fire, but hold on, Ron. It was also one of the most amazing grounds, obviously, to play cricket at. I mean, as Sober said, you haven't played cricket till you've played at Kolkata, which we had 90,000 virtually every day.
Brilliant. And I am going to pause the rapid fire because I also want you to tell the story of when you did get that record score in Auckland. It was the highest score for a South African at the time. And you received a call from the president. I
did. Yeah, well, I'm chuffed you remember that because look, we would have been 9-10 hours ahead. It was about 7 in the morning. The curtains were closed. It was dark. And he's head of security for most of that time was a guy, Rory Steyn. And Rory was a very keen sportsman. And all these guys that in that era who've managed to get something signed by Mr. Mandela, it was largely to do with Rory's work. And but he was also, like most things in South Africa, very much on top of the latest news and happenings. And it broke Graham Pollock's record, which I think stood since the 70s.
Yes.
Would have been the 70s.
Yes.
And my phone rang at 7 in the morning. And I heard this voice. And it's unmistakable. Who would not know the voice? And I was stark naked. And what do you do when the president speaks to you? You stand up.
Yeah.
You stand up. There I was, standing up on my bed. It was dark. The curtains were drawn, stark naked, talking to Mr. Mandela. What do you say? So he said, I just want to, and back of your mind, you're thinking, is this real or not? But it was real. But it must have been a comical scene. There's this guy. My first instinct was stand up.
Yeah.
I stood on top of the bed. But I mean, he's famous for having done that sort of thing and spoken to so many people and met them, and it was a great moment to receive a personal call from the great man.
Yeah, that's why I remember, and I want you to tell the story. The day Nelson Mandela himself brings up Daryll at an odd hour in the morning in Auckland to congratulate him for his record at the time. It was a brilliant story. Well done, Daryll. Okay, let's get back to the rapid fire, mate. One player that you had the greatest respect for as an opponent while playing?
I always was a great admirer of Sachin. I think from all perspectives, Sachin.
All right. One thing you know Ashley hates about you, but you still keep doing.
That's very personal, right?
All right, I'll go to another one. Smith, Kohli, de Villiers, ranked from 1 to 3 on the basis of the more all-round batsmen for you. Smith, Kohli, and de Villiers.
Which Smith? Steve Smith.
Steve Smith, yeah.
The best all-round, Virat, without a doubt. I think Virat's his ability, his want, his desire to take on pressure, to be the match winner, to be the man, and to head up a country and a team's batting. In that regard, I think they're all unique in the way they play. But I think that's what puts Virat ahead of the other two.
All right. All right. Time to pick Newlands or the Wanderers?
Wanderers.
All right. Touring England or touring the subcontinent?
Subcontinent. England was boring, man. White crowds. I just detest. The 99 World Cup was the most boring affair ever.
Well, I think you guys spiced it up in the semi-final. But...
Yeah. Gee, well, yeah, no, that's for another show.
All right. Steyn or Anderson?
Steyn. Not even a contest. No. Jimmy's been a great bowler, but my allegiance lie with Dale.
Rabada or Bumrah?
Bumrah. Right now, a year ago, perhaps I would have said Rabada, but Bumrah's been under pressure again, you know.
Okay. Murli or Warne?
Murray, any day. He never had McGrath at the other end. It's a big debate. Who got more of Warne's wickets? McGrath. Who actually was the better bowler?
Oh, come on.
Who worked hard for the other one? Murray never had that. It's got to be Murray.
All right. I can only ask you to speak your mind, Daryll. All right. Beer or wine?
Beer or wine? Beer. Beer by a long way. Bangalore's got the best bloody breweries and beer in the world, man. Love the trip there. I need to get back. Put a word in for me, please.
Yes. As soon as international travel is back, we'll get you over, Daryll. Okay. First thing that comes to your mind when I say Australian fans?
First thing, 10-year-old swearing at you.
AB de Villiers.
First thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Freak.
Shane Warne.
Ellen DeGeneres' mum.
Hansi Cronje.
Hansi, great leader, good guy.
The IPL.
IPL, brilliant, cricket saviour. Awesome, love it.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Sachin, integrity, honesty, perfectionist. They mustn't even talk about Virat being better than him. Not even a contest. Batting has never been easier in the last 10 years, especially in ODI cricket. When they want to start to talk about Sachin having played through batting power plays at his peak and best. It's not it. I'm sorry. I'd like to see this present generation deal with reverse swing, an old ball, after 15 overs, you're allowed to set your ring. No. All due respect. Virat, I'm a great fan of his. But don't try and tell me that he's better than Sachin, guys.
Brilliant. South Africa at World Cups. First thing that comes to mind.
Very unlucky. I'm not going to say it because you know what? No. I think experience cost us at times. I think choking cost us at times. But I think the day will come. But don't be surprised. And remember this day, Raunak, if we don't qualify for the next World Cup. Remember I mentioned it. That's my big concern at the moment.
I'll make a note, Daryll. I'll make a note. Last two. First thing that comes to your mind when I say Cricinfo.
Cricinfo. Well, Cricinfo, the Bible of cricket. It's our go-to. It's our knowledge center. cricket would not be the same without Cricinfo. I mean, there's nothing to, as a website, incomparable.
And lastly, first thing that comes to your mind when I say me.
You.
Yeah.
Who's that American comedian? What's his name again? Looks like you.
Oh.
Whitney. No. Yeah, he's a legendary name. Witty, charming, sense of humor. Knows very little about cricket.
Billy Crystal.
And I've always said to you, you're the next Harsha Bhogle. Isn't that true? And you always say, oh, no, whatever. And I say to you, Raunak, that's where I want to see you one day.
You're talking about Billy Crystal. That's the guy who used to make...
Billy Crystal.
I remember.
Come on, you're a ringer for him, man. Raunak. When are you getting married now? I'm supposed to be coming to your wedding. What's happening?
Yes, you are. Don't worry. It's all on hold now, Daryll. It's still not happened. I'm still a better man. As soon as I'm a better man, I'll get there.
That's wonderful.
And before we wind up, Daryll, that was a brilliant rapid fire, so well done. But before I let you go, you must tell me what else is keeping you busy now. I believe you're going to start something new and something special on your own.
Yeah, I'm doing a bit of, this time has given me time to, I'm doing sort of a WhatsApp coaching platform. It's on my website, www.darylcullinancricketcoaching.com. And it's just a great medium. I've been doing it for years, and then I had a chat to Toby Radford, the ex-West Indian batting coach. He's one of the more respected guys worldwide, and he said, you know what, it's what I work with a lot, because the two-way communication is quick, it's easy, it's simple, the features are great. So I've already attracted interest in India. There'll be a couple of kids, more sort of your younger players who aspiring, want to make a career out of cricket. So yeah, I'm yearning to just be involved in the game. Raunak, when it's a bit tough when you get to my time and you think, well, I still feel I've got something to offer, and where it's acceptable, I'd like to offer it, and I think it's a great medium. So the working tool is WhatsApp, which is easy and simple, as I mentioned, and I hope to attract a lot of interest and make a contribution to a young player's career, which you can look back on and say, well, it was what I needed at the time, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, Daryll, brilliant. So any young cricketer that wants to get in touch with you, that's the best way to do it?
Go to my website. It's a blog page, really. It's just an idea of what is happening, and my contact details are on there. They can drop me an email, or they can use the contact form, but it's www.darylcullinancricketcoaching.com. So I can only think time-wise work with about 20 or 30 players, because I'm doing it all personally myself. So it's a mentorship. It's also coaches who want a second opinion on any of their young cricketers about what they're doing. So it's very much it's an added voice to what they're trying to achieve, and that's the way I'm pitching it. So yeah, I'm open to any suggestions. It's fun. It's merely just to have a bit of fun, and it's great when you feel that someone respects your opinion or you've got something to offer.
Daryll, thank you so much, my friend. Gaurav, it's good to see Daryll, and some lovely memories. There are only good memories that you and me have. Daryll, thank you so much.
Let's make some more. I look forward to being in India, and I miss it. I love going back there, and I hope to see you soon. In regards to everybody, thanks, Raunak.
That's it, mate. Take care, Daryll. We'll talk again soon.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was fun. Yes, Arya, best times. You missed Daryll. How good is he, right? He's still opinionated as ever. He's still got his sense of humor, which is just fantastic. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Got the best of Daryll. And there will be a best clips that will come out later today. And I'll put the whole link to the chat on YouTube a few hours from now. And be back again. We've got another one tomorrow. They're coming thick and fast right now. I want to try and do as many of these before the lockdown ends in India. And let's keep these memories coming again and again, and get you guys to get involved with the cricketers too. So yeah, sorry I couldn't take all the questions and comments. Sometimes you just have to let the guest flow with his thoughts. And Darren Ganga will be on tomorrow, the West Indian, and he's pretty good as well with these. So do join us then, and take care and stay safe until then. Bye-bye.